I've for so long been, oh, I'm Carmella from WWE. That was just who I was for so long, for 12 years. That's who
It's
I
a
was.
long
But
time.
now that I'm on that other side of it, it still feels like weird, especially like I go to the doctor and they're like, who's your employer? And I'm like I don't even know what to put. I'm like, Dimitri Polinsky, like my 2-year-old.
Right.
I'm basically his bitch. So like,
You gotta get on my level.
hey, I'm Leah Van Dale, and this is Hot Mom Shit, the podcast where we live in the and. We're going to laugh, we're probably going to cry, and I'm definitely going to say something I probably shouldn't. If you've ever looked like a babe on the outside while completely losing your shit on the inside, you are exactly where you need to be. Welcome back to another episode of Hot Mom Shit. I hope you're all having an amazing week. I just did a cute little shoot, so that's why I kind of look like I have my life together right now. I got my glam done. I did my hair. I washed my hair for the first time all week. I am like feeling myself. I'm like, okay, who is she? Because when I woke up this morning, I looked like a fucking troll. I'll tell you that right now. However, I am so excited. So fucking excited about today's episode. I have a guest. She's incredible. Her name is Tara Clark. She has her own podcast called Modern Mom Props. If you follow her on Instagram, she talks about the good, the bad, the ugly, the messy, the real parts of motherhood. And I'm just obsessed with her. As you guys know, I've talked about this a lot on this podcast. When it comes to motherhood and social media, I feel like everyone's just showing their highlight reel. They're showing the good aesthetic and the beige and like life is good and it's perfect. And my kids sleep 12 hours a night and they never throw their food on the floor. And it's like, fuck that. Anyway, you guys know that I don't love that. So it's all about keeping it real. And that's what she's all about. I'm obsessed with her. I hope you guys love her as much as I do. And without further ado, welcome Tara Clark to Hot Mom Shit. Tara, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to chat with you again.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me on. We're going to have fun.
I'm so excited. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. It's going to be like a 3-part podcast.
I know. That's what I felt. It's going to be a whole mini series of us just hanging out.
Yeah, this is just like the podcast now. It's just co-hosts. I love it.
Oh my God, stop. I would totally. Be careful what you wish for. She'd be like, oh my God, get this girl off of my show.
No, I absolutely love what you built. I love your podcast. I love your social media. You're so real, open, and honest about motherhood, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I feel like it's exactly what we need as women, as moms. I think what you're doing is just incredible.
Oh, thank you. You know what it is? It's tricky sometimes when we're doing this, when we're working at home alone, we're often in silos, right? So like I'm making content or I'm interviewing people for the podcast. And sometimes I forget that it really does reach people. And I know that sounds stupid because like, of course we have social media, so you do see the interactions, but many times like when we're in our sweatpants, I'm literally wearing leggings right now, right? So like while, see, like when we're home in our leggings and our sweatpants, sitting at the kitchen table or, you know, we forget that we are making an impact sometimes. And I know that sounds stupid, but I think
no,
that's
it
really
doesn't.
true.
Every single woman that I've met over the last few years, like moms in general, like every single one, I would say maybe not every, 99.9% of them have all sort of created something or come up with something, whether it's a business, a hobby, a passion, whether they had fertility struggles, pregnancy struggles, a crazy birth story, motherhood, or like just slowly becoming a new mom. They've all built something based off of something that was lacking when they were in those periods of time. And I feel like that's exactly what you did with Modern Mom Props. Can you talk a little bit about, I know you used to work at Nickelodeon and then you pivoted into now this space. Can you talk a little bit about your time, I guess, with Nickelodeon and what caused that pivot to create what you've done now with social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's rewind it back like 50. We're rewinding it back about 15 years or so. So I worked at Nickelodeon. There was a time where I was Dora the Explorer on Facebook because I worked in the social media team. And my mom used to run around and she'd be like, my daughter's Dora the Explorer. I was like, on Facebook, mommy, on Facebook, stop telling people that. It's weird. So yes, I worked in social media at Nickelodeon. And that's really how I got my start working in social media. Obviously, I was at Nickelodeon for 5 years. I loved the company. It was in my opinion, one of the best times to work at Nickelodeon. We were crushing it. We had like just premiered Victorious. Ariana Grande was up and coming. I had met her at the upfronts. She was an absolute doll. We just had a lot of great shows at that time. iCarly was really popping off. So it was a great time to be there. So it was like 2007 to 2000. When did I leave? 2012, because my son was born. So I had my son, and I decided to stay home with him full time because we struggled to have him. I had 3 miscarriages, and then I had unexplained infertility, and then I had polyps, and then finally I was able to get pregnant with him and then kept him, and now here he is. But it was a very long story, and that could be a whole episode altogether, talking about infertility and miscarriage and all of the struggles. And so when I had him, it was a really tough decision on whether or not I was going to stay home with him full time or go back to work full time. And it was hard, but ultimately I decided to stay home with him full time. And when he was 3, there was a shiny new website called Canva that was just coming out. And obviously Instagram was there. And it was February of 2016. I had said to my friends and family, I'm going to start an Instagram account about parenting, and I'm going to make it a business. And they were like, you're going to do what? And I was like, yeah, it's going to be a thing. And they're like, that's not even like a thing at this point. There were people definitely that had blogs that they were like moving the blogs like to Instagram, but to have it solely be just on Instagram and not associated with the blog was sort of new at that time. And I was like, yeah, bet, like watch me. And that's what I did. And so when my son was 3, I had so much content. Like when you have toddlers, there is just a wealth of like a fire hose of funny and frustrating content that could come out of being a parent of toddlers. And so I just started making jokes about it on the internet, and it really resonated with people. And then here we are 10 years later.
So obviously there was nothing like this, right? That people weren't doing things like this, being real, open, and honest about, motherhood and being like what you're dealing with as a toddler. Was there something that you were like, as a specific moment, they're like, oh, this is what's going to make, I want to do it now? Or was it kind of like a slow build?
You know what's interesting? I think I happened to be at the right place at the right time. And so, like I said, Instagram had been around since I think 2010 or 2011, but people were not necessarily like monetizing it at that point. We were still taking pictures of our lattes and our sandwich and our salad for lunch. Like that was kind of what we were posting at that point. And then people were starting to do more with memes and different things like that. And so for me, like I said, I think I was in the right place at the right time. I started primarily as a humor account. As I evolved as a mother, my account evolved with me, and then also social media had evolved around that same time. So then we were able to have those harder conversations, the conversations about pregnancy loss, the conversations about infertility. And when I first got started, that's not something that we spoke about. But like I said, it sort of evolved into that. So I'm very grateful that we're now in a place where we could talk about literally anything under the sun. I like to say that anything that falls underneath the concept of a modern mom problem is something I'm going to talk about.
I love that. So like speaking of social media, how do you deal? I feel like it's such a necessary evil when it comes to social media. It's this like dichotomy of like women sharing this beautiful part of motherhood, this beautiful aesthetic, and how everything is just great and perfect. And then, you're showing the real, raw, open side, and, with humor too, which I absolutely love. How do you feel, taking your part out of it, I suppose, because obviously like you do what you do.
Yeah.
What do you think about social media now as a modern mom, and how it kind of like can be a terrible place for moms to be, because it makes you feel so guilty and it makes you feel like you're going down this rabbit hole of like, I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough for my kid. My kid doesn't have the right toy or the right, am I not taking him to the splash park today? Is that, I just feel like I'm on social media and I feel like I had a great day with my kid, but I'm like, well, this chick did this, and I feel so bad about it. And I know I'm a good mom, but it's like I'm spiraling. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Oh God, Leah, I have so many thoughts about that, but no, because it really is one of the major mom problems. So on my podcast, at the end of every episode, I ask my guests, what do you think is the biggest modern mom problem today? 8 out of 10, probably 80% of the answers is social media comparison. I hear it again and again and again. Everyone keeps saying it. And it's not necessarily something that I would have assumed that it would have like rose into the top. I thought maybe screen time in general. And people are saying, no, specifically the overinformation in social media comparison. Just like you said, you go to the splash park, you have an awesome day with your kids, you come home, oh, who went to Disney World today? Oh, who went to Disney World and then had the VIP pass? Oh, who did this? Everyone's like one-upping each other with that. And we can't help but internalize that, right? You're seeing it like message after message, post after post after post. And in the last 10 years that I've been on social media, the industry has absolutely exploded, right? Like everybody and their mother is, or at least it feels like everybody and their mother is involved in this industry. And so there are experts, there's sleep experts, food experts, vacation experts, all of these things, right? And it's like our brains were never meant to absorb this much information and then therefore this much comparison. And so that is a major problem. So you're certainly not alone in feeling like that. So just know that like what you're feeling is very common, but how do you escape that, right? How do you break out of that? And so for me, I just have to put my phone away. I have to either like put the digital wellness things on where it's like, oh, you only get 1 hour of Instagram a day, which is something that I do on my phone. And I have friends who have this thing called the brick. They swear by the brick. They love the brick. They're like, it's changed my life, whatever. And there's ways that we can use technology to help us to not use technology, right? And so I'm a big fan of the digital wellness options in our phones to do that. Even within Instagram, they have settings that you could limit your usage per day, and I have all those set. So that's really a big one, is to try to be present and know that like you're doing the best that you can with what you have at that moment. And that's just something that you have to keep in mind all the time.
100%. I've gone on like a big unfollowing spree. If I'm going through scrolling and I see something that's making me feel bad, I'm like, I unfollow. Even if it's somebody I know, I like, I care. I'm like, if I'm consuming this and it's making me feel guilty, I'm unfollowing. I'm just like, I don't have any problem now unfollowing people.
Good. See, like that's the
thing. Less of that in my life.
No, it's true, because at the end of the day, the phone is, I like to use this analogy. It's kind of like your home, right? You curate the things in your house, whether it's like a vase or a plant or like your wardrobe, whatever, right? Like you can curate your feed in the same way that you curate your house. So there's nothing stopping you from do that. So curate your feed to make you feel good about things and not feel garbage.
I love that. I love that so much. Okay, this is a question that I've been wanting to ask you since the last time we chatted. I know you talk to so many moms, you talk to so many experts in the motherhood space. What do you think is the thing moms are lacking the most in 2026?
At this point, moms are most lacking a village, community, support, all of those things. It's hard because in today's society, in today's modern American world, we are living further apart from our families. And we don't have that community that people in previous generations had, where you could go next door and ask your neighbor for a cup of milk and some rice or some sugar or something like that. It's just a very different society. There's this sort of like rugged individualist where like, I can do this all by myself. And really, motherhood and parenting like is meant to be done more communally, And so I think that's something that parents or mothers in particular are really struggling with, is not having someone or a community to rely on.
I feel that so much. I feel so blessed because I have a great village. My husband does travel a lot, but when he's home and it's great. And I also have my mom who helps out so much. And I feel this guilt sometimes because right now my 9-month-old is not sleeping. I'm getting like, I'm not sleeping. I feel like I haven't slept in fucking years. Like I'm just like, it's to the point where I'm losing my mind. And so my mom will take my kids like once or twice a week to sleep at her house. And I feel so blessed about that.
That is such a game changer to be able to sleep and like not have your brain be on fire.
Literally. Like because that feeling, like newborn feeling of like up every hour and you can't think and everything is like the end of the world. Everything makes me cry. Everything. And it's like, my life is good. I am so blessed. I have nothing to be upset about. Why am I so miserable? Well, because I haven't slept in months. So I have my mom to help, but I feel so guilty. I'm like, oh my God, am I a terrible mother for letting my kids sleep at my mom's? And my mom's like happy to do it. And my kids love being there. Like half the time they're like, can we go stay at Gigi's house? And I'm like, no, you have to stay home with me. But like, so they love being there, but I'm like, oh my God, I feel like a terrible mother. But like, that's what women did years, like, you had your mother living with you to help you and have a village, but I just think nowadays, it's like you're saying, the village is just obsolete almost for so many people because people don't have close family or friends or anyone that can help. So it's like if you do, I almost feel guilty. I'm like, "Oh, my friends are doing this on their own. Like, why am I but no, like I should take the help and like be okay with it and not feel guilty, but that's also like modern motherhood, like the guilt, it's
Yes.
just out of it's just
That's
too much.
like next level stuff is the guilt is absolutely what it is. But I have to say, don't feel guilty. Let Gigi take them. Let him take them to the
Thank you,
splash
Gigi.
park. Thank you, Gigi. You're amazing. Um, have her take him to the splash park and take a nap. Like do all the things. Go to the gym. Do all the things that you need to do for yourself. It's okay. Like they're gonna be fine.
Totally. And I think that's something that I've been trying to talk about on this podcast as well. It's trying to like take care of yourself so you can take care of your kids. And it's like, the cliche of put your mask on first, like on the airplane before you put your kids' mask on. But it's true. How can you be a good mother? How can you be a present mom and like really be with your kids if you're not okay yourself?
Yes, absolutely. 10,000% yes. When I had my son, I did mention that I left Nickelodeon to stay with him full time. However, I did a brief stint at an ad agency, which I like really hated. So I was not there for like more than a couple of weeks. And I had my son in daycare, which we lived in Manhattan at the time. And so the daycare was directly across the street from our high rise building where I could like literally like see into like the daycare entrance from my apartment. So I had him in daycare even after I had left that brief stint working at the ad agency because I needed some time to myself. And even though he was still, let's say 5 months old, something like that, I wanted to be able to do laundry without having to take care of him. I wanted to be able to go food shopping, do all of those things. And so I am very lucky to have been able to be in the opportunity that I could have had him in daycare, even though I wasn't working full time. But that was a real game changer for me as well.
Totally. It's just little things like that. Like my mom took them the other night. It was a Sunday night. She took them both so I could get some sleep. And I'm like, I'm going to leave a little early so I can go get my like I wanted to, it's not like I was having her take my kids so I could go out with a girlfriend and have a drink. I literally left her house to go to the grocery store, to go home and put my groceries away in peace and then go to sleep. I'm like, I feel like such an old lady, but like that filled my cup. Going grocery shopping by myself and like looking at everything on my list and like, oh, and maybe I'm going to browse for something that's not even on my list. I'm going to get a little crazy, like I didn't want this oat milk, but I think I might try it. It's like little things like that. That's what fills my cup right now. Like eventually I'm sure other things will fill my cup, but it's like right now that's where I'm at.
That's where you're at right now. That totally makes sense. But if you have any good oat milk recommendations, let me know. Give me all the good oat milk recommendations.
I love Oatly. My sister got me
Me
an
too.
Oatly full, like the full fat Oatly. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, we like Oatly in this house as well. So,
what fills your cup, Tara? Like, what do you like? You said your son's 13 now. What fills your
Yeah.
cup at this point in motherhood?
oh boy, it's funny. It sort of comes full circle, and I'll tell you I'll explain what I mean there. So for me personally, I love to do Pilates. I'm studying Italian. I've been learning Italian for the last 4 years. I like forgot now, but he started studying, and then like he kind of gave it up, and then I took it over. And so because that's just sort of what happens in our house, that my son will start something, I'm like, I'll just do it, whether that's learning a language or anything else. So I love learning Italian and doing Pilates. But what really fills my cup right now in the motherhood space is spending time with my son one-on-one. Because when they're little, which I also loved spending time with him when he was little, but that was different. You were like doing things for him and helping him and all of that kind of stuff. Now we could just like hang out and watch TV together and just vibe like you would a friend. And that has been filling my cup.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I love that so much.
Yeah. It's wild because it's something that like you take for granted when they're younger, because like you're always with them and like
Sure.
to the point where like, oh, just go.
Right.
But then when they get of a certain age, and like I said, he's 13 now, he'll be 14 in November. We just sit on the couch and watch YouTube. He doesn't watch like television shows per se. Everything he watches nowadays is on YouTube.
On YouTube, yes.
Yeah. And so we'll just like watch YouTube together, and it's amazing.
I love that. I look forward to doing that. I mean, I
Yeah.
watch YouTube like with my kids right now, but it's like
Coco Melon or Miss
yes.
Rachel
Oh
or
my
something.
God, I can only listen to Miss Rachel so long. I'm like, get me out of this room.
That is so funny. Yeah, you know what? She started like after, like once Jack was big. So like I've never even, I guess I probably should. I've never even watched an episode.
I mean, it's cute. And like the stuff, like sometimes Dimitri, he's 2.5, he'll do something. I'm like, where did you learn that? He's like, Miss Rachel. I'm like, oh, okay. Like at least he's learning something nice. Sign language and
yeah. That's
I'm happy
super
with
cute.
with
That
that.
is
Yeah.
really good. That is really good. We had a lot of like Wheels on the Bus
Yes.
videos just in general. Like my son like loved the song Wheels on the Bus, so we watched like every YouTube video with Wheels on the Bus.
And now you're just watching YouTube with him.
I know. Now we're watching other things. We have this YouTuber. His name is Lazy. He is so funny. I'm gonna like totally shout out Lazy. He lives in Connecticut. He's a 30-year-old guy who does a lot of commentary videos. So he'll do commentary videos on like TikTokers or influencers or just things in general. Like he's kind of obsessed with crumble cookies. So he'll do a whole video about crumble cookies. It's just like society and culture videos, and he's a riot. So shout out to Lazy. So that's a lot. Yeah, what Jack and I watched together. I think you would appreciate it. It's actually like genuinely funny.
I'm gonna have to I'm sure my stepdaughters know about him, so I'll have to ask them about him.
Yeah.
They keep me young.
That's how I feel about Jack. Like there are things that I would have no idea about, and then he'll be like, no, you can't do that. That's cringe. You have to do this. Like,
oh yeah, everything's cringe. Oh,
everything's cringe. Yeah. I'm cringe all the time. I cannot begin to tell you how cringe I am. Even like emojis. I'll give you an example.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, all right, like what are people using now for emojis? And he said that I have to use the dying flower emoji. There's a dying rose. And he said the dying rose emoji has replaced the skull and crossbones, which had replaced the crying face emoji as dying laughing.
Oh, dying laughing. Okay. Well, I am so not in on that. I must be so cringe because I still am like a super millennial. I do like the crying side.
Yeah,
like the crying, laughing. Yeah.
Same. So that's what I was doing. He's like, no, Mom, that's cringe. So then I switched to the skull and crossbones as like, I'm dying, ha ha ha, I'm dead. Right. And then he's like, no, that one's over. You have to use the dying rose and a coffin. And I'm like, that's like
taking notes.
I was like, that's almost like too literal. Like
right,
you're like dying in a coffin?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I kind of want to shift a little bit because I want to chat about something that we actually talked about on your podcast a little bit a couple weeks ago. And I think so many moms can relate to this because it's all about identity and identity loss. And I think whether you have a career or you are a stay-at-home mom and that's your career, or you're in between, you're trying to figure it out. We're all just trying to figure out who we are as moms, right? Your identity completely shifts and changes. And you said something to me on your podcast a couple of weeks ago where you said you were always known, or for like several years known as Tara from Nickelodeon. So like, you would talk to somebody and be like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I work for Nickelodeon. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, tell me more about that. And that was just like your identity. And then all of a sudden you have a baby, you realize you don't want to work there anymore. You want to be home with your son. And now it's like, who is Tara? I'm Mom, like it was confusing. Can you talk a little bit about that and like how you found yourself again?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so impressed that you recalled that story as well as you did, because that was exactly what it was. So for years, when I would introduce myself at parties, cocktail parties, different things, they say like, oh, what do you do? Oh, my name's Tara. I work at Nickelodeon, been working there for a few years. And people are always like, oh, tell me more, this and that. And so that became such a basic way to introduce myself. And again, that becomes like part of your identity. And when you stop working at that company or stop working altogether for the time being, you have this sense of loss, this sense of who am I? And now I'm Jack's mom, but am I more than just Jack's mom? Am I only Jack's mom? And those are sort of the questions and the thoughts you wrestle with. Then I met a woman who, she and I got started on Instagram at the same time. She is incredible. She is beautiful. She is smart. She is witty. Her name is Neha Rush. She wrote a book called The Power Pause. Highly recommend The Power Pause. She was on my podcast about 2 years ago or so, promoting it when it first came out. And in that book, she talks about the importance of being able to take a power pause while you're a mother while you're taking care of your young children, so that you could come back bigger and better than ever. And in the conversation of this book, it's also that it's not as black and white of stay-at-home moms versus working moms. So many people now, those lines are blurred, right? And also, too, like, why even put titles on things? We're moms, period, right? We are parents, we are mothers. That's what it is, period, end of story. And she really opened my eyes to this concept of you don't have to give yourself a label of, oh, I'm Tara from Nickelodeon, or, oh, I'm Tara, Jack's mother. You could just be Tara. You could just be Leah. You could just be you, who happens to enjoy X, Y, and Z, who happens to enjoy Pilates, and who happens to be learning Italian, right? But it's not all of who you are. There's so many components of you as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, you know, all of these different roles that we are a part of. We don't have to let like one particular thing define us. And I remember I sat with that feeling of I'm no longer Tara from Nickelodeon for a very long time. Like I said, up until when I was chatting with Neha about it. And once I realized, this is actually what I was telling her in our conversation, once I realized that I could sort of shed that Tara from blank, 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 and just stand on myself, stand on my own business of I am Tara, that was a game changer. You can just be Tara. You could just be Leah. You could just be Jess. You know, you could be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, I just feel this to my core. Like I feel like I'm still in that because I've for so long been, oh, I'm Carmella from WWE. That was just who I was for so long, for 12 years. That's who I was.
It's a long time.
12 years, my identity. And I felt like for so long, I often wondered what life would be like post WWE, because I knew I wouldn't be there forever, of course. But now that I'm on that other side of it, it still feels like weird, especially like I go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you know, who's your employer? And I'm like I don't even know what to put. I'm like, Dimitri Polinsky, like my 2-year-old, right. I'm basically his bitch. So like, I don't know what to say anymore. And it's like, it feels weird to be like, oh, I'm a mom. And not that I think like if someone else were to say I'm a mom, I'd be like, that's fucking amazing. You're incredible. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, that's like the hardest job in the world. But for some reason for myself, I'm like, I'm just a mom. Like, I don't know. It feels almost to myself not as exciting, not as, you know, like when I know I told you this story when I was on your podcast. My husband and I were in an Uber and they're like, oh, what do you guys do? And my husband always says, we work in television. And I'm like, first of all, that's like opening Pandora's box. Like, why would you say that? Like, now they're going to say, what do you mean television? And I had a conversation with him yesterday because I was telling him about my conversation with you. And he's like, I guess I never really looked at it like that. I always just said I work in television because it feels pretty vague. And I'm like, but it's not like you're saying I work at 7-Eleven and people are like, okay, like, cool. If you work in television, they're going to assume you're like, I'm like, you're a good looking guy. You're covered in tattoos. They're not going to think you just work in production. They're going to be like, what show are you on? You know? So it's just like this long-winded story always. And even like yesterday, I was getting a fucking colonoscopy yesterday. Okay. And the nurse,
good for you. Honestly, good for you, Leah.
Not that I wanted to, but it's preventative. It runs in my family. I just like wanted to make sure.
Yeah, my dad died of colon cancer, so I totally understand.
So you get it. So I just was like, I did not want to do it. But anyway, the anesthesiologist was like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, like, I just kind of felt like I wanted to brag. And this is something I need to talk to with my therapist. I was like, oh, I'm retired. And so then I knew that he'd be like, oh, you're retired. You're so young. Yeah, well, I used to be a wrestler. And so like, I wanted to have that conversation because I didn't want him to think I was just, first of all, I look like shit. I haven't slept or had water or food in like 3 days because, you know, you have to prep for it. And it's like the worst prep ever. So I'm like, I swear I'm not a troll. Like, I used to work for WWE. Like, I was cool. I swear. Like, and it's like, again, this is something I needed to unpack with my therapist next week. But I was like, yeah, I just didn't in me for some reason be like, oh, I'm a mom. But instead I'm like, well, I used to work for WWE. But it's like this crazy identity shift. And it's, again, you don't have to work at Nickelodeon. You don't have to work in WWE. You can work in finance. You can work wherever and still have that loss of identity and try to figure out who you are. Like, your life changes so much once you become a mom. It's like, you don't know who you are anymore. You don't know what you like. You don't, what are your hobbies? Because you don't have time. It's like
No,
years.
you can't even like watch things. Well,
No.
during the newborn phase, I watched a lot of TV. I watched the
binge
shit
watch
out
a
of
lot.
some
Yes,
TV. Yeah.
yes. But then once they start moving, it's like, forget it, you know? Like, I remember often wondering, like, will Matt and I ever be able to just sit on the couch and watch a show together? I remember thinking, like, I miss that. Like, I miss just, and it's not even like I miss going to a bar or dancing on wherever. Like, I just miss watching a show with my husband. And it's like that much of your life is just so different. Your identity, you just like, you don't know who you are anymore. And it fucking is crazy.
It's really hard, but I can promise you that it's not forever. It's just a season of parenthood right now, season of your life. And next thing you know, you're going to be like begging. Like I said, like for me, like I love to be able to hang out with my son and watch TV because he's off doing whatever he's doing with his friends. And so there was definitely a time where I was like, I'm never going to be able to watch TV again. And now I'm like begging him like, hey, can you want to watch TV together?
Right. Right. It's so annoying because it's like time is so fleeting and it's and you know it's short, but when you're in it, it's so hard to recognize that. And then you get to the other side and you're like, I wish I could go back. But then when you're in it, you wish you could go forward. It's just such a mind fuck.
It really is a mind fuck. I have to say that I'm very happy where we are right now. Like I did love when my son was young and sitting and cuddling on the couch. It was just so yummy, you know, like it was just like yummy. And they smell cute and like they're such a cute age. And it was really hard. And we were on the verge of tears and there was really bad tantrums and he didn't eat anything, you know, like all of those things are true at the same time. Now I have to say, like, we're chilling at this point. It's not perfect, but it's nowhere near what it was like. And a lot of times people say about the teen years, like, oh, just you wait. Just you wait. I even saw a reel yesterday by this girl who I adore and she's hilarious. And she did a post about more or less like teens being scary, like, oh, just you wait kind of thing. She's a humor, like a comedy content creator, but even still. So I told her, I was like, no, like it's not that bad. Like as long as you build the foundation early, and I think we spoke about this, as long as you build the foundation with your children early where they could like trust you and come to you and ask you questions and confide in you, then the teen years aren't going to be so bad because you've already laid that foundation. The harder thing is like when you don't lay that foundation and then they're 13, 14 and then they're off, you know, smoking weed with their friends and sneaking around and that kind of stuff. Like you got to build that early. And so I'm seeing that now because my son he's a good kid and we have a really tight relationship. But with some of his other friends who they didn't lay that foundation, like they're doing all kinds of stuff. He has one friend who's like vaping and he's riding his motorbike at 2:00 in the morning. Like, you know, it's like just all kinds of stuff. I'm like, no, hard, no.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so hard.
I know it's tricky. It really, it is. It's tricky. Parenting is hard. You know, it's a very much like yes and kind of thing. In as much as like it's wonderful and it's hard, and we could be honest about it now. We don't have to put up
opposing ideas can be true at the same time.
Exactly, and we don't have to put on airs to be like, no, everything's great. You know, parenting's perfect. We're moms. Like, we'll just like keep up appearances and stuff. Like, no, it's 2026. Like, we could just be honest about it.
Right. I love that. I did an episode on this a couple of weeks ago saying how I did not enjoy the baby phase. So I'm curious what your favorite age is. Is it right now the stage you're in, or do you have a favorite age?
That's a good question. I could definitely say I'm with you on the baby phase. Like that shit was hard. My brain was like jello. I was not sleeping and my brain was a big dumpster fire. It was like literally on fire. So that was really hard. Toddlerhood was very hard for us. We had a lot of tantrums. That was really, he was like a ticking time bomb. Like anytime we went somewhere, we only had a certain amount of time because I knew that he was just going to like, it was coming. And so that shit was really hard. I have to say the golden years, actually, that's what this girl's video was about. She was talking about the golden years, and the golden years are sort of like between, let's say like 7 and 10 or 7 and 11, where you don't have to wipe their butts anymore. You know, you don't have to do everything for them. And that's what she was talking about. And so, yeah, the golden years are amazing. And that's like proper like elementary school time. That's awesome. Like you're cranking at that point. But having said that, like at this point, yeah, the teenage years are going well too. So I don't want to jinx anything, but
sure.
Yeah, for me, I would have to say toddler years were the hardest.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because right now, my Dimitri's 2.5 and we have our moments, but I'm like really loving it. It's so far for me. This is my favorite.
I think I'm telling you, it's all, if you're having a great time now, like you're good. You're good. It's such a
Right.
yummy time, and you guys like cuddle and sit and play
Yeah.
and doing Paw Patrol and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
The other
it's
night
a
he
great
did
time.
something so cute. Like my baby dropped husband's phone was on the floor and my baby like picked it up and accidentally dropped it on my toe. And I was like, oh my God, that hurt so bad. And Dimitri comes running over and he goes, Mama, are you okay? He goes, let me kiss it for you.
Oh my
And he
God.
kissed my toe. And then he comes over and he hugs me. He goes, I'm here. I'm here. And he's like rubbing my back. And I was like, oh, and it like made me realize, okay, this is obviously what he sees me do with him and his brother. And like the things that you don't think they pay attention to, they do and they see. And it just melted my heart. I was like, oh my God, you are the cutest little gentleman.
He's the cutest little gentleman. Oh my God, I'm dying.
He's
But
like,
that's what I was just about to say. Oh my God. That's because you're modeling really good behavior. And that's the thing. Kids are sponges.
They
They
are.
soak up all of that energy. They're soaking up all of those behaviors. And that's how you know that that's true, because he did it right back to you. Oh my God, I love that. And he's going to be such a good big brother too.
Yeah. I mean, he has his moments. He likes to headbutt the baby a lot. Like they're gonna be a tag team, and I'm so fucking scared. Like I do not want them to be wrestlers, and I'm so freaking out about it. But he's constantly headbutting him, like to the point where the baby cries, and I'm like, "What is happening?" Ugh. But okay,
Oh my God, I am deceased. That is actually really, really funny. It made me think of the Steiner brothers, because we were just watching there was a WWE special on Netflix that like just was on like literally a week ago. And so my husband and I were watching that, and they were talking about the Steiner brothers. And so it made me think of that.
yeah, they're gonna basically be I'm scared.
Oh my God, that is so funny. That's actually really cute though. I think they have like a good age difference between them too. Like it's not so far, but it's not so close. I think they'll
They're
end up being
like
close.
23 months apart, so they're
So
right
good.
there at 2 years. So
Yeah.
once Bram gets a little bit older and he can like give it right back to him, I think we'll be good. He just needs to be put in his place a little bit.
I see that a lot of times with younger brothers, that the younger brothers end up being like really tough. And I don't know if it's because they have to like stand their ground against their older brother, but I see that a lot. Like the younger brothers are often bruisers.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely where we're at. So luckily they're both like big boys, so he can hold his own.
Oh my God, that's so good. How tall is Matt?
He's 6'1", but my dad's whole side of the family, like my grandfather was 6'5", his brother was 6'4". Like we have, and my Matt's brother is 6'4", so we're really big.
Oh, you guys have the height. Yeah, that
Yeah.
totally makes sense then.
Yeah.
Oh my
So we
God.
got some big boys.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Oh my God, they are 100% going to get into wrestling.
Oh my God, I freaking pray they don't. Oh my God. Please don't. Please don't.
Please don't. When I told my son that I was chatting you today, it was the only time that I wasn't cringe recently. He's like, "Oh my God, you're talking to Carmella?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Mella's money. She won Money in the Bank." And I was like, "I know." And so I'm not cringe now because you and I are hanging out together.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad I could give you a couple brownie points.
You totally do. It was funny too, because I was like, "Oh, you remember her?" He hasn't watched WWE in a while, and he's like, "Of course." But when we were heavily watching it was the time that you were huge and you were everywhere and you were winning Money in the Bank and absolutely kicking ass. And so he was like, "Of course I remember that. That was a big deal." I was like, "It was a big deal. She was the first woman."
Oh, you're
to
making
win
me feel
Money
really
in the
good. It's
Bank.
like sometimes I need to remind myself again, even though like I don't want to say I was Carmella from WWE, I need to remember like I was that bitch. So I need to.
You were that bitch. You were that girl. You are that girl. I actually have that on my desktop on my laptop, like you know, like the
that.
thing,
Yeah.
on your desktop. Yeah, it says you are that girl. So you, my friend, are that girl.
Well, you built something out of absolutely nothing, and I think that what you've done is incredible. What would you say to other women or moms who are feeling like something's lacking in their life or feel like they need to build? Like, what advice would you give to another woman who's like maybe starting out from scratch?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one thing I didn't mention in the beginning of our conversation is when I started my Instagram, part of it was because I was lonely and living in New York City. And New York City is huge. There's like 8 million people there. And here I was as a new mom, and I didn't have any other friends, and I didn't have any family. in the city because for some reason no one wanted to come drive over the bridge to come see me. But whatever, that's a different story altogether. And so I created my own village. And so what I would say to people now is do just that. If you are lonely, reach out to people, create a village, because I would bet money, I would venture a guess that people are also lonely and that they're also looking for camaraderie and community. So if you build it, hopefully they will come.
They will. Tara, this is amazing. I could literally talk to you forever. Could you tell my listeners where to find you and all of your handles and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm big into branding, and what I mean by that is like everything is Modern Mom Probs, right? So follow me on Instagram at Modern Mom Probs, YouTube. The podcast is the same thing. I have a book with the same name. Everything's Modern Mom Probs. You'll find me there.
Amazing. This was so fun. Thank you so much. We have to do this again.
I know. I love it. This was like so incredible. Thank you for having me.
You gotta get on my level.
You did it. Somewhere between the laundry and the meltdowns, you made time for another episode of Hot Mom Shit. If something today made you feel a little less alone, text it to the mom who could use the reminder too. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode, and come hang out with me at the Leah Vandale. Remember, babe, none of us have our shit together.